Hello again, everyone. This is Matt Makowka, your friendly neighborhood librarian. And today's session is going to be a little less formal and structured than the previous sessions. It's just going to be a quick overview of some different resources to help you with selecting a topic. So I hope that these will help give you some ideas. So while I can't just hand over a topic for you to research, I think some of these will help you out. So I'm not going to cover the obvious culprits such as Wikipedia. You're welcome to explore that and bounce ideas off of that. I find nothing wrong with that. Plus, it's a great place for background information. But if you want to go beyond that and get some of the encyclopedic information, especially those entries that come out of different university publishers, that sort of thing, then this session is going to help you out. Before I get into those resources, though, I did want to start off looking at the catalog. Should you have some sort of general idea in mind, I just want to give a very quick lesson in how to search and filter just for ebooks on that topic. Afterward, then we'll go into the some websites you might want to look at that are sort of just general directories that are great for browsing and getting background information. Then moving from that, we will look at a trio rather, of library databases that are some wonderful reference resources, again, to go beyond your Wikipedias out there. Okay, so to start, let's talk about a quick library catalog tip. So let's say that you have a topic in mind and you want to find what currently available ebooks there are on it. You will go to the library catalog here. You're welcome to do either the basic search or advanced search. In this case, I'm going to do a search on a couple of ships that were involved in an expedition during the 19th century when Britain was trying to find the Northwest Passage, an unbroken passage along the northern waterways of Canada from the Atlantic going all the way to the Pacific. And what inspired this was a show called The Terror that came out in 2018, and I think it's currently available on one of the streaming services. It kind of jumps the shark at the end of the show and throws in some weird fictional material, but a lot of it is based on real life. And so I thought, well, hey, that would be an interesting topic to research. So we could search on Northwest Passage, or because the attempts have been made many times to find that, to zero it in more, I'm going to search on the two ships. So there's one called the Terror, I'm just going to put Terror, and one called the Erebus. So let's say you've got some terms in mind, search those. Alright, here we go. Now, I don't have a lot of results here, so there's not a lot to sort through, but what I would do if I just wanted the ebooks is first, under resource type on the left-hand side, click Books. That way, if there were media materials, government documents, that sort of thing, it will filter those out. And this would be a mix of both online books and paper books. And then I would go under availability, and in this case I locked out everything's online, but if we had them in paper format as well as online, then to just get the online I would click available online. And then Looking through here, I see notes on the botany of the Antarctic voyage conducted by Captain James Clark Ross and Her Majesty's Discovery ships Erebus and Terror, with observations, etc. The eventful voyage of HM Discovery ship Resolute to the Arctic regions in search of Sir John Franklin, and the missing crews of HM Discovery ships Erebus and Terror, etc., etc. So some of these, just going by those dates, I would say are more than likely primary source documents. And then others may be ones that are just reflecting on occurrences that a bit later. But in short, if you just want quick and easy search for ebooks, go to the catalog, punch in your terms. After they come up, use the filters on the left-hand side of your results to filter for books only, and then for available online. Now, I didn't list this in the PowerPoint, but you can also use the Discover all-in-one search. So let's say I'm going to go a bit broader here, and we're looking for materials on the Northwest Passage. I can search Discover, and yes, it's going to get books as well as tons of articles. But if I want just some general materials on this topic, if I look under the resource type, go to Show More, one of those is going to be reference entries. So basically in this area, doing a Discover search and then limiting to reference entries under the resource type, basically I am picking online encyclopedia entries. So here's the Gale Encyclopedia of U.S. Economic History, Berkshire Encyclopedia of Sustainability, Antarctica and the Arctic Circle, Geographic Encyclopedia of the Earth's Polar Regions. Some may be more relevant than others, but if you're looking for just like one place to search most of our online encyclopedias, you can use the Discover search for that. So just remember, punch in your search, and then to filter by resource type, reference entries. So pretty easy. Okay, so to start things off, as far as web pages, I've got a couple that I have listed in the handout, which I will link in the description below, and have it your instructor send it out to you. But just looking to move beyond Wikipedia, which is fine, great place to bounce ideas, get some background information, but if you want to look beyond that, or you just don't have anything in mind that you want to search in there, and you just want to browse things, then hopefully this pair of sites will help you out. So the first one is the Voice of the Shuttle, and this is just a good old-fashioned Web 1.0 subject directory. It's a well-curated list of subjects, and right here I've got the page on history. A lot of these sites come from various universities, libraries, and museums, so they've all been vetted. And as you can see, when you come into this page, you have a directory of different history sites on the left-hand side that you can jump to. So if you were to pick a geographic area, usually that's then broken down into historical eras, particular countries, ethnicities, races, that sort of thing. So that is a good place to browse. Notice they also have an area on historiography. So if you're wanting to get more background information in that area, some good websites here. If you are going to go on to study professionally, be a professional in history. There's a listing of history departments and programs as well. There's a history of science and technology too. So lots of good stuff here. Again, great place if you're just wanting to browse and get ideas for topics. Now, the other site I'm going to recommend is by the Library of Congress, our national library. And this here is the digital collections page. So this is an archive of various collections. So it will be more or less all primary source or primary documents. You can see here, so there's not a whole lot here, just a few hundred collections. They're broken down into American history, government law, politics, world cultures and history, and so on. So very kind of easy, quick to browse, and it includes a mix of media. So you've got digitized documents, pictures, digital recordings, and so on. Now, since there's not a whole lot to that area, I would also recommend this, going back to the Library of Congress site, is then if you are on their homepage, another place for ideas is the trending area. So that's a good one. And then above that, if you want to dig even further, I would recommend going to their navigation bar at the top and clicking on researchers. So several areas I'm going to point out here. The international collections. So if you're wanting to look beyond American history, this is a great section. Most of these will be in their native tongues, but if you're looking at European history, African, Asian, etc., lots of good collections here. So it's kind of like that digital collections, but for other parts of the world that we first started at. Underneath that, then they've got special format collections. So if you were wanting to research photographs and prints, music, film, and so on, then this is a good area. And then last but not least, when you scroll towards the bottom, are the research guides. Now, any good library has a set of research pathfinders called research guides. We do them as well at UTD. These go a bit deeper into the weeds here, so once you're on this page, you can see they've got 72 subject categories. Notice there's one for American history, over 200 research guides there, so that will kind of tell you how to research in that area and recommend resources. There is also one for history as well. That's 100 guides there. Looks like some of these overlap with the American history, but there are more there. So you're welcome to explore that as well. Again, if you kind of have no idea where you want to start, this would be a decent place to browse and get some ideas. And finally, I'm going to recommend a trio of general reference databases that I find particularly helpful. So again, these kind of like those websites that I just recommended are great for browsing, getting background information, and then hopefully serving as a launch pad to then dig deeper into the history databases or the catalog. So, from the library homepage, you will go to the databases tab here. The three that I recommend, don't forget these are listed in the handout, so don't worry if you miss the URL here. They'll be listed in the handout so that you can click and access them that way too. But they are as follows: Credo reference, the Gale Virtual Reference Library, or GVRL, and then the last one is the Oxford Reference Online, or ORO. So after going to the Databases tab, you can just click on the corresponding letter. So first we'll go to the C's, and we'll scroll down to Credo Reference, also known as Credo Academic. And after signing in, okay, it will land you on their homepage here, and you'll see it's got the Research Popular Topics where they tag different categories. But what you want to do is go to this 3-line icon to the left of the Credo Reference logo, and click on it, and you'll get a menu, and you want to go to Topics. Then from here, it's listing all 11,351 topics. I would recommend going to the All Subjects drop-down menu and then expand on History. And then that will list all of the history topics. You can click the arrow beside it, and so if you want just history of Europe, Great Britain, United States, world history, then you can go to those categories as well. And then each of these will be browsable topics. They've got this kind of idea association tree there. If you want to, kind of like Wikipedia, go down the rabbit hole and look at associated topics. But then many of these are short articles. They'll sometimes include additional resources to look at, or recommended primary sources to follow. So again, that was Credo Reference. Just remember to click on your menu, go to the topics, and then you can start viewing the history topics there. I'm going to go back, and for the next database, we will look at Gale Virtual Reference Library. This one's a bit bigger than Credo, and alright, here we go, Gale Virtual Reference Library. This one's a bit more straightforward. So once you get into their homepage there, you just simply go to Browse Collections, scroll down, notice there's history, 263 books there. And then you can start browsing the titles. There's some really good stuff here, such as the American Decades and American Eras books. Then they've got histories of different countries and eras. So here's a brief history of France. Several history books on China. Early Civilizations book, American Immigration, European Social History, Encyclopedia of India. Then you've got books on the Middle Ages, Renaissance, that sort of thing. So lots of good stuff here, pretty easy to browse to give you ideas. So Gale was pretty straightforward. You just go to the Browse Collections history area. Last one that we'll look at and close in on is Oxford Reference Online. So as you can expect, Oxford University Publisher, Lots of great content there. And once you get logged in, here we go. What you will do is you can see this explore by subject area, and they've got different pictures, but it's hard to know what is what unless you hover your pointer over there. So what you can actually do is go in this upper left corner to subject, and then that will pull down a listing of all the different categories. And then, of course, you'll naturally want to go to the history one. And then once you're on this page, it's giving you a listing of 70 books. But before you start browsing these, we do not have access to all of these, so we have to purchase access to individual books. So you may notice that some have a small red padlock icon, and then others have a green open padlock icon. So the green ones mean that we have access, the red ones mean we don't. So my advice is to go on the left-hand side in the narrow your choices area, and then under availability, click on unlocked and free, leave the restricted unlocked, and then that way you're just filtering for those 53 books that we do have access to. And then you will see that these are a mix of dictionaries, and which I've found in my experience are kind of a misnomer. They're kind of more like encyclopedias, but they're a mix of dictionaries and encyclopedias. So here's Black Women in America, Dictionary of Byzantium, Who's Who in the Classical World, Dictionary of British History, so on and so on. So just like with the others, as long as you kind of know where to drill down to, it's very easy to get kind of a short list of topics and books to browse and get some ideas there. So I did my best to keep this relatively short and sweet. We started with a couple of quick tips for the catalog and discover searches. If you're wanting to search for readily available electronic materials on a topic, of course that requires having a topic in mind. So if you do not have one, then we looked at some websites that are directories and collections of historical materials and historical sites that are great idea starters. So please refer to the handout for the links for those. You can also browse our general interest encyclopedic databases, those being Credo, Gale Virtual Reference Library, and Oxford Reference Online. All great sources, and all giving you the ability to narrow to history categories if you would like to browse just those. As always, if you run into any problems, have any questions, please get in touch with me. There's my information there, and you'll also see it linked down in the description area. Happy researching and good luck!